Alright guys, we got something on. Let's see what we got. The thump net's keeping both of them alive, so that's good. Alrighty, so we have had a haul today from the Dollar Tree. So everything here is $1.25, starting with this pool noodle, this heavyweight jumbo mesh bag. It is 36 inches by 24 inches or 91 centimeters by 61 centimeters. It's a polyester bag. This is some diamond braided rope. They don't carry the paracord anymore. I'd rather had the paracord, but they got this diamond braided rope, and so we're going to use it. This actually may work out better for us. And then these right here are some very cheap nylon cable zip ties, 60 pieces, 8 inches or 20 centimeters. We'll definitely need these. So what we're going to do today is make what some anglers call a thump net. Some people call it a live well net or a live net. There's a bunch of different names for it, but the idea behind it is that this is a way to store either bait or your catch and keep it alive without a live well in the water. And I've used something very similar to this. I'm going to modify it somewhat. Floating thump nets run somewhere between $40 and $60 in some places. I've spent under $6 for this, so I'm going to show you how we make it. First thing I want to do is make sure I got no problems with the net. So I'm just inspecting my net. I've unfolded it, looking at any seams that might be a problem, seeing if anything might be able to come out. Because if it can come out, I don't, I want to fix that now. Everything seems to be well sewn. I mean, at least for Dollar Tree, it's well sewn. There is a loop here. That's good. So there is a loop to tie on to, and we'll definitely need this. Your better laundry bags. So if you wanted to go with a better laundry bag, they would have a zipper. This does not have a zipper, which is good if you're in salt water. So all of them have this little spring thing, and you can always buy more of these little devices here that hold on. It's got a spring, then it stops it from moving, and so that's awesome because you'll need that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick measurement with this. So we're going to get this undone and cut it and get going with it. Okay, I measured out 1.5 times the width of the bag because I wanted plenty of line. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking my lighter, heating this up, getting this nice and this cut end. We'll come back to that in a minute because we'll marry that together. But we'll put this to the side. Now we'll get on to the pool noodles. Just as a point of clarification, this is 68 inches of line that I've done here. Now, what I did here, except for that little mess up I did right here, every 2 inches I came out, marked, did 28 inches. So it's 24 inches across the bag is. And so I wanted to have it where this moves. And so I said, all right, I want to have 14 total. So that's 12 on each side plus 2 on the ends. and then that way it can kind of shrink up a little bit as needed. And with that, I went ahead, marked these off. Now I'm going to cut them into 2-inch rings, and we'll go from there. This right here is where a serrated knife really works well on a cutting board, because you make long strokes, even cuts like this. It's not going to be perfect, but it don't have to be perfect. I'm not selling these, I'm just using it for fishing. So I'm going to continue on with this, and I'll be right back when I got my cuts made. Alright, so they're all cut. They're a little off. I mean, they're hand cut. I'm not trying to sell this, I'm just trying to use it. But more than less, that's pretty good. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and attach these to the net. Now everybody will have a different net, so if you get a better net or you get from a different store, these will all be different conditions you have to realize. But on this one that I'm working with, the actual tag part right here is at 6.5 inches, or the little loop to tie onto. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. I measured right here, and so I'm thinking that I want at 9 inches, I'm wanting this to go. So I'm going to go right here with my little marker and measure 9 inches from the end of the top of the bag down. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side, and I'll make a few marks along the way here and on the other side so that I know where I'm at. Alright, it's hard to see, but there they are, the marks. Now I'm doing is fishing these little pieces through the line. Very simple. Now what I want to do is fuse the ends of this together as best I can. So what I'm doing, I'm going to hold them up to the flame and then get them nice and hot and then stick them together. So do like this. My fingers are very cold. Don't do this unless your fingers are chilled. Mine are chilled. So that way it don't burn my fingers. I actually chilled my fingers deliberately. Alright, now. That right there is pretty much fused together. Yeah, I'm pulling on it, it's not coming undone. That's what I wanted to do, was weld this plastic together. Do it in a ventilated area. If you have any little extra pieces, you can break them off. Don't want to break too much of it off, but you don't want any type of something grabbing onto you. Yeah, I'm pulling that. That's not coming undone. Perfect. I'm going to trim this a little bit with fire. Okay. Now it's time to break out these zip ties. And so what we're going to do is we're going to zip tie each end of the rope that's holding. So the rope is going to be held down to the net with zip ties. We'll run them through the little loops. We'll zip tie them in, holding the rope to the net, and then you'll have the actual spacer, the float piece of the floaty in between two zip ties. I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, you don't have to be too precise with this. I mean, I like being fairly precise, but you don't have to be too precise. So, main thing is just get it wrapped around. So, we'll go ahead, do this one like that. My idea is I just wrap the rope around here so that I can just kind of get my little lines going like I need to go. And if you didn't want to use zip ties, you could sew it, but I figured everybody can. I mean, a lot of guys don't know how to sew, but they know how to operate a zip tie, and that's the main thing. Use what you got, use what you know. Some guys, they sew because they make nets and things of that nature. If you're used to that and you know how to do it, perfect. But I figured this would be a lot easier for the common guy to use. So come here. It's a little bit awkward. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying this is the least awkward thing in the world to do, but it ain't that bad. You can do this and just get about 2 or 3 loops with your zip tie. They go right through that netting real easily, and then snug it up. That's the main thing. So I'm going to go around here. We're going to snug these up, and you can see they move around. And once I come back, we'll trim these off after we got them where we want them, and the thump net would be almost done. Alright, so we got them all here. I didn't tighten them too tight because I want this string to kind of be a little loose in between the lines. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut these off, and I'm going to get the string situated. Easy for me to say. So all we needed was 14 zip ties to do these. Now what I'm going to do, I've took a little bit of that excess rope and brought it here. And this right here is that loop here. If I didn't have this right here, what I would do is I would make me a loop. I'd actually take a little bit extra long rope and make me a loop to catch onto here to tie onto. But since this has got a loop, I'm going to take a piece of this string right here, and I'm going to tie this to the bag. In fact, I tell you what, I'm going to do a little bit better. I'm going to zip tie this to the bag so that we're not wasting string. And we'll just zip tie this here, and then that way it's connected. The bag and the floats are all connected. Alright, I've cut off about 21 feet of rope here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a uni knot. There we go. Good tight knot. Alright, here it is. Got some rope tied to it. Got that. So that is the thump net. I'll show that to you in the water when we use it. Oh, and if you kayak, save these right here for your kayak anchors. And if you haven't seen that video, I show how I rig up my kayak anchor, and these things are a lifesaver. Alright, I'm going to throw this under here and see if we can catch another one. Fish love structure. And there we go. That's a big one, folks. That's what we want right there. That's what we want. That right there is a shell daddy. Shell cracker like I was talking about. This is a keeper. Alright, I'm 6'2" and it's way bigger in my hands. Woo! You can lip this. Alright guys, so we have got a massive shell cracker in here, and I'm going to put in the thump net, cinch this up, and then all I gotta do is undo this and tie off. This be like a little live well for him. Well, my thump net got stuck, so I'm gonna go get some help, get it out. Well, we're here. Let's see if we can get to it. See what happened. Then we'll worry about untying it. So it was the knot that got it. It's caught up in here. The knot, this knot right here, got caught in that. But this fish is alive. It's been flopping around. It's doing good. Now, there, I could have waded off in there, but that's where a gator was, and I did not want to wade off where that gator was. So I'm going to see if I can get this untied, and we'll go from there. Alright, so it's hard to see this, but the netting got a hole in it, and it's kind of an interesting story. When I got back to the boat launch from unhooking the net, I had two viewers come up, and they wanted to talk. They were talkers, and in talking with them, this was a brackish water lake, and the crabs had basically, there was at least 4 crabs on the fish, and they were eating through the net. So this was caused by crabs. It's hard to see. So what I've got here is I've got a cutting board. I'm going to put this cutting board under it, and I'm going to show you how I repair this. So I've got some sewing thread. This is quilting thread. And if you will go and get large eye needles, that will make your life so much easier. So this has a very large eye. They're sometimes called upholstery needles, but I love these large eye needles. So it's better than doing a regular sewing needle. And for our purposes, you don't need a sewing needle. So let's get this set up. I'll be right back. Alright, so I got this blue right here. Hopefully you can see it right here. And I've got right here what I did is I took about 4 foot of line, tied a bunch of knots at the end, trimmed the line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a good piece of netting right here. I'm going to run this through that little loop right there with the knot to create a secure connection. There we go. And I probably should have gone with a red or whatever, but I just didn't want it to look janky. This is my personal fishing net, and I don't want it to look bad, just like you wouldn't want your net to look bad. Although I understand for YouTube purposes, that is not what I should have done. So what I'm doing, there's all these little micro weaves in between the netting, and so I'm going right between those micro weaves, and I'm just kind of making a little closure loop. I'm not a seamstress, so I'm not claiming to be a seamstress. I'm just showing you how I'm doing my net to fix it. This is ironically about the same way that I do my my net when I do my cast net. So you can do something very similar with the cast net, although I do use monofilament line. I don't use a needle necessarily. Sometimes I do. Alright. But all I'm doing is getting those little micro weaves in here. Every now and then, if you want, you can take those little micro weaves, sew in amongst them, pull, and then wrap around 1 or 2 times, and now you got a knot, and then that will secure it as well. Although I like that left a loop right there. It's hard to see, but it left a loop. Not ideal. I'm not saying I'm doing pretty work, I'm just mending up my net. Because this is a Dollar Tree net, I'm not expecting it to do a lot. Like I said, crabs within a matter of minutes had already destroyed this net to some degree. If I'd left them there, they would have really destroyed it. People don't realize how destructive blue crabs can be to a net or something other. They just can't fathom crabs that powerful, but they are. And if you just want to go from hole to hole in your net and do that, I've done that before. I just like getting in that little micro netting because that's really good stuff there. That really holds in a lot better than just trying to hold on to the hole. And so here, and what I'm going to do, pull, then I'm going to do a few wraps around that loop. Do another, and that's going to be my tie off. Alright. Cut that off. Obviously it's going to look repaired. So somebody's investigating it, they're going to see that I repaired it. But when you look at it on the greater scale of things, white repair, so sewing thread is cheap. You can buy that. I recommend that every guy get some various colored sewing thread to keep in their tackle box, because you use it for everything. I get the quilting thread. If you can find the thread for like coats and things of that nature, or upholstery, that is the better thread. It's thicker. You never know, you might have to take and modify a hook to be stitches. You never know. So that's one of the reasons why I keep super glue in my tackle box. You never know, it was developed for stitches. But sewing thread, super glue, I use it for everything. Same thing with fingernail polish, clear fingernail polish. You use it for everything. Fishing. But there it is sewed up. That's how you repair this if it becomes damaged. So I hate that it got damaged, but I'm also glad that it did become damaged so that you can see, and just put something behind it so that you're not getting into the other side of the net. This will give me probably even better usage now, because that thread was way stronger than the other. So that's how you do that. I'm trying to walk over here without killing myself. Found a neat little feather. Going to try not to get killed, try not to get snake bit. And I've got 2 hours max before I've got to be home. Alright guys, we got something on. Let's see what we got. I think it's a bass. Might be a redfish, but I think it's bass. No, it's a mullet. We caught our target species. Target acquired. We caught a mullet. So this is a mullet, guys. This is what we've been after the whole time. And see how it's hooked right there? That's about the only place you can hook them. The rest of it is near impossible. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put him in the thump net. So see how his lip just ripped off? Yeah, they do that. Toss this right there. You can see the mullet's doing well in the thump net. Well, another one. All right. Like I said, I may just stay a while, but there he is. Another one right there. The thump net's keeping both of them alive, so that's good. In case you're wondering why you're seeing a weird angle, it's because I have fallen on these dangerous rocks and I'm trying to get up. And remember me talking about the thump net getting caught up in the rocks? Well, it busted. I landed with such thud, it busted 2 of these little zip ties. So that's pretty good lick.